Hear me out, and this is the confusion that most people don't understand. They'll see a guy like Chris Bumstead, and they'll say, well, Chris Bumstead's bulking. That's why he's putting on this muscle. Chris Bumstead is technically not really bulking. Coach Greg, and in today's video, I'm going to explain exactly whether or not you should be cutting, maingaining, lean bulking, or bulking. And to do this, we're going to be going over specific body types, people that you have heard of, and say what they should be doing. It's the hopes of this video that you'll once and for all understand when is it appropriate to bulk, cut, or maingain. Cutting is when you're trying to actively lower your body fat levels to get leaner. Maingaining is when you're trying to keep your same percentage of body fat, but build muscle on top of that. Lean bulking, you're going to gain a little bit of fat, but try to build a lot of muscle at the same time. And dirty bulking or just plain bulking, you're trying to gain a lot of weight, a lot of fat, a lot of muscle, a lot of everything. And let's start this off with Allie, my girlfriend, who's not here to defend herself, so I can speak about her any way I want. Allie has over 33% body fat. That puts her at the obese level. Sorry, just telling you the truth. She simply has too much body fat. It's outside of being healthy. She doesn't exercise, do cardio, doesn't eat very healthy, despite living with me. And so what would I tell her if she hired me and said, hey, I want to build muscle, I want to improve my physique? I would tell her to start by cutting. That's right, cutting. That means being in a calorie deficit, a small one, 500 calories or less most likely, and lose maybe 1 pound a week. I don't encourage rapid fat loss because people lose weight too fast, they tend to lose muscle. So what I would tell her to do is to lose weight very slowly. Slower the better. Try to get her body fat percentage down to about 25%, which to me would be about as healthy as could ever be. No point in going below 25%. She's not a competitive athlete anymore, and so 25% would make sense. She could do this over the course of a few months or several months. Once she hits 25%, I would say, hey, that looks amazing. That is healthy for you. Now at this point, I want you to stay at about 25% and slowly build muscle for the rest of your life. That is what I would advise Allie to do if I were her coach, which I'm not. I'm her boyfriend. I can't make her do anything. Trust me. So if you're watching this and you're female or perhaps you're male and you're slightly overweight, perhaps obese, my advice would be to slowly cut down, get leaner, and once you get to a healthy body fat percentage, 25% for women, 15% for men, try to then maintain that, assuming it's healthy for you, and slowly build muscle from there. That is my advice for you. Example number 2. Tristan Lee and Jeff Cavaliere, I'm putting them in the same category. Leaner than average, leaner than required to be an athlete, just peeled, shredded out of their minds. What would I advise them to do if their goal was to optimize muscle building? I would tell them to go on a lean bulk, to add calories to be in a slight surplus and slowly gain body fat until they're at their ideal body fat percentage for building muscle. Perhaps Tristan Lee, who's likely not natural, perhaps it's 8%, 9, 10, 11, 12, we don't know. But I certainly do believe that if he's 5% body fat year-round, he's not going to build as much muscle as if he's 10%. And the same applies for Jeff Cavaliere. If he increased his calories, got his body fat up to 10%, I do believe he could build more muscle. He looks great, but with a bit more body fat, he likely could add more muscle. Once he then gets to 10%, I would say, maingain. Stick to the 10%. You're likely going to have very good testosterone levels for you, and you can build muscle optimally. I wouldn't say bulk and cut, bulk and cut, bulk and cut. I would say add a lean bulk until the point that you're at an optimal body fat percentage, and then maingain. Notice the pattern so far. If you're too lean, eat more until you get a proper body fat percentage and then maingain. If you're too fat, slowly diet off that excess body fat and then maingain. Next example, Henry Cavill and Chris Evans. Both specimens, both look amazing, both have body fat percentages, perhaps around 15%, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depending on the time of the year. Both of these guys should maingain. Neither should cut, they already look amazing, and neither should bulk. They already have proper body fat percentages to optimally build muscle. They don't need to add in extra food. Henry Cavill does not need to force feed to put on muscle. He can slowly build muscle by eating at maintenance, and maintenance being his current level of body fat. Obviously, to build muscle, he needs a slight calorie surplus, 30 calories a day, but that is so hard to calculate, it's pretty much impossible. So what would I tell them to do? Just look in the mirror and make sure you're not getting fatter. If you're getting fatter, eat a little bit less. If you're getting leaner, eat a little bit more. It's not something you could say, oh, I'm eating 3,100 calories now. I need to eat 3,130 calories a day because I'm trying to gain. It is impossible. Some days they might eat 2,500, others 3,500. It averages out to maybe 3,000. And if your body fat is consistently about the same, you are in fact gaining. Perhaps 5 years from now, they'll add 10 pounds of muscle. We don't know, not likely because they're older, they're not 20. But that is what gaining is. Next, Will Smith. I got a dad bod. I need to get in the shape of my life after 50. Will Smith's weight goes up, it goes down. And so what would I tell Will Smith? Go on a slight calorie deficit. Slowly cut down to a reasonably healthy physique. Not the shape of your life at 50. Not the leanest I've ever been with the most muscle. You're 50. It's not realistic. If you cut to that point, you're not going to maintain it. You're then going to rebound, go on a yo-yo diet every year, up and down. It's much healthier to pick a weight that you can maintain at and gain. So what I would say to Will Smith is lose some body fat slowly, probably halfway to your dream physique, halfway there. Get there slowly. And once you get there, then gain. And what does that mean? It means to keep his body fat about the same 15% and then slowly try to build muscle from there. Would not advise Will Smith to diet down to 10% and then bulk up to 20 and diet to 10 every year, back and forth. That's called yo-yo dieting. It's not healthy. Yeah, when you're bulking, it's fun. Love to eat a lot of calories. But what goes up must come down. If the calories go up, guess what? They must go down later. You will then have to diet, probably crash diet, probably be in a calorie deficit and not have as much energy, lower your test levels, and feel like shit. Just look at the struggles Alpha Destiny had to try and get shredded to single-digit body fat. Did that look fun? Did that look healthy? And so what would be my advice to Alpha Destiny? Get to 15% body fat and gain. Stay at 15%, no reason to bulk up to 25%, then have to cut down later, and suffer when you can stay at 15% year-round and slowly put on the muscle. That is what gaining means. Next example, did a natty or not on her, Sanada Graca. She's shredded, very lean, leaner than required for her health. She could probably put on more muscle by eating a little bit more. So my advice, she would go on a lean bulk. Probably enough to get up to somewhere between 18 and 22% body fat, which would be an ideal range for most female athletes. Once she's in that range, she would then maintain that body fat for the rest of her life or as long as she wants to. She could then more optimally build muscle. Now, if she doesn't want more muscle and she feels great, she feels amazing, and she has the genetics for it, then she can maintain 15, 16% if she wants to. Perhaps it's not optimal to build muscle, but that's what she wants. And what about myself, Coach Greg? I'm 9% body fat. Well, if I were to go 100% natural, I would say probably better to lean bulk. Why? Because at 9% body fat, when you're natural, testosterone levels are likely to go down. But I'm admittedly on HRT 140 milligrams a week. My testosterone levels are constantly at a high normal level. I don't need to worry about having low testosterone levels. I can maintain 9%, have energy all the time, feel good, not starving. I eat from my cookbook, low calorie dense foods that are filling. It's easy for me. So why not maintain 9%? I have energy on the bike. I feel good. I recover. I'm perfect the way I am. But if I were natural, perhaps 9% would be too lean. And in that case, I would lean bulk. Does that make sense? Oh, but Coach Greg, we've seen you bulk in the past. We seen you bulk in the past. You're lying. Bulking is why you gained all that muscle. I bulked in the past because I was trying to make a weight class to break a world record in powerlifting. I dirty bulked. I ate as much healthy food as I could. I couldn't get any more calories. So I started eating candies, chocolates, nuts, everything high calorie dense foods. If it wasn't pizza, I didn't want it. Salad, are you kidding me? I don't have room for a salad. Give me some ice cream. I did all that to go up in weight so that I could lift more than before. Not to build more muscle, not because that's how I got muscle for bodybuilding, but because I was trying to break world records in the bench press. And did I in fact try bulking when I was younger? Yep. I sure did. Is that why I put on a lot of muscle? Well, here's my experience with bulking and dirty bulking. I competed at 154 pounds and said, well, I need to move up a weight class. I am going to bulk hard. I got up to 187 pounds in the off season, wore size 34 pants. Remember, I'm natural. I was in my early 20s, university. I then dieted down after that thinking, oh, I'm going to be probably 165 this year. Put on all this weight. It's all muscle, maybe a little bit of water. I dieted down and guess what I weighed at that next competition a year later? 154 pounds. I gained zero muscle. Made no difference. I thought I gained a ton of muscle. I was 187 pounds. My bench press was crazy. I was benching over 400 pounds. I was strong. I looked strong. Looked good. But I was 187 pounds, and most of the weight I gained was fat. I did, of course, gain some extra muscle, but then guess what happened when I dieted? Lost that extra muscle because of the severe calorie deficit I needed to get the fat off. Had to do a ton of cardio, had to starve myself to get back down to 154. And when you're in a severe calorie deficit, how likely are you to build muscle while dieting? Very unlikely. And how likely are you to even maintain what you have? Very unlikely. Add to that the extra cardio I had to do. Hard to recover. I never gained any muscle from the bulk. So what I do after that, the next year, I got up to 175 pounds. 175 in my off season compared to 187. And the next time I competed, 158. That's right, I put on that 3 pounds of muscle. And was that because I bulked? After all, I was 175. Is that bulking? Well, yes and no. And hear me out. And this is the confusion that most people don't understand. They'll see a guy like Chris Bumstead and they'll say, well, Chris Bumstead's bulking. That's why he's putting on this muscle. Chris Bumstead is technically not really bulking. He's going back up to the body fat percentage that he should have been in the first place. When you are a bodybuilder, a competitive bodybuilder, dieting down to very low body fat levels, 4 or 5%, you starve yourself to get down to that point. You cannot build muscle at 4 or 5%. It doesn't make sense. Not optimal. So after a bodybuilding competition, all as in every single bodybuilder has to eat more in a surplus to go back to a healthy body fat percentage. Being at 4 or 5% body fat, it's not healthy. You can't function, you can't train properly, you can't sleep, nothing works properly at 4 or 5% body fat. So all bodybuilders will have to lean bulk, dirty bulk, do whatever it takes to go back up to their former body fat percentage. Perhaps for Chris, it's 12%. So after Chris's last show at 4%, he eats more and gradually or very quickly goes back up to 12%. That choice, that is his. Some people dirty bulk after a show. They want to gain fat as quickly as possible, get back to normal. Others, like me, think it's better to slowly regain the weight so that your mind gets used to that image that you see in the mirror, so that you don't develop body dysmorphia and hate the way you look. But that's just what I recommend. So then after Chris gets to 12% body fat, he then main gains. He doesn't keep force feeding. He doesn't keep bulking to 20 or 25%. He doesn't need to, because at 12%, he can build muscle optimally. It doesn't benefit him to keep force feeding the calories. He doesn't need to get fatter. Chris Bumstead in his off season shredded 260 pounds of shredded muscle. To me, that's not bulking. So when people use Chris Bumstead or other bodybuilders as proof that bulking works, I'm like, no, that's proof that maintaining works. Because maintaining doesn't mean to maintain an excessively lean and unhealthy physique. I have never once in my life said you should diet to the point of looking anorexic or starving yourself and then try to maintain a scrawny, tiny physique. One that's malnourished. It doesn't make sense. When I say to maintain, it quite literally means to be at a healthy body fat percentage. 15% for men, 25% for women, and add muscle from there. Let's continue on with other examples and see what you think they should do. You have someone who's skinny fat. They're 20% body fat. They just joined the gym. They're 5'10", 150 pounds. They're skinny, have no muscle, but they clearly have fat. They're 20% body fat. Do they need to bulk up to put on muscle? Answer me and I'll tell you what the answer is. If you didn't say main gain, well, I'm going to explain why. They don't need to bulk up because they're already bulked. They're already at 20% body fat. You don't need more calories if you're already at 20%. Don't need any more. You're already at 20%. That's good. Main gain. Keep the 20% and put on muscle from there. Or if you want, you could even slowly cut to 15%. As long as it's a healthy weight for you, and then build muscle from there. Main gain. You do not need to go to 30% and then cut to 20, 30% cut to, go back and forth. You don't need to. Next example. You're 300 pounds, dramatically overweight, never trained in your life. You're a newbie. Do you need to bulk and cut? No. You should cut while slowly building muscle, and then when you get to your healthy body fat percent, main gain from there. So if you're 300 pounds, 45% body fat, slowly cut down on body fat. Be in a slight calorie deficit, and you will slowly add muscle. You're a newbie. You will build muscle even in a deficit. And then when you get leaner, perhaps for you it's 25%. Maybe it's not in the cards to be 15%. You have extra fat cells, it's just too difficult. Not everyone can main gain at 15%. Diet down to 25% and main gain from there. Another example, you're 240 pounds and you're a strongman competitor and everyone competing against you weighs over 300 and you want to get stronger at all costs. What should you do? Lean bulk or dirty bulk. Do whatever it takes to get huge, massive, force feed. Get the calories in. You try to beat Ryan Shaw, the world's strongest man. You need the calories. You need to get huge, eat to force feed. Next example. You've been training for 5 years, but you're not making any progress anymore. You're 25% body fat. You're a little overweight. You've been powerlifting, lifting heavy. You go to the gym pretty good. You're doing okay. But you're not getting any noticeable muscle size anymore. What should you do? You shouldn't bulk. That's not the answer. Do something else. Look at something else. Look at your diet, your training, your recovery, your sleep, your supplements. Don't just think, oh, I know, I need to eat more. You've already bulked. If you're already at 25%, going to 30 is not going to help. It's not beneficial to be 30% body fat compared to 25 in terms of your ability to build muscle. It can actually make it worse. When you add too much fat, it kind of makes it hard to recover. You're out of breath, out of shape, can't move around. It's not good. Next example. You've been suffering from body dysmorphia. You look in the mirror, you feel fat. You have full six-pack, you're lean, but you feel fat. You've been comparing yourself to other people on social media, and you just don't like the way you look. What should you do? You've watched a number of Coach Greg videos. He says to main gain. You see Coach Greg, he's lean. And you're thinking, well, I want to look like this year round because I want to be shredded like the Gymshark models. What should you do then? You need to lean bulk. You're too lean. Your body fat's too low. You can't build muscle. You're single digit body fat. It doesn't work like that. You're natural. What do you expect? You lean bulk till you get to a healthy body fat percentage. Maybe it's that 15% number I keep throwing in your face. If you're 7%, 8%, oh, I watched Coach Greg's video. He's an idiot. He said I should main gain. Watch this video. Did I say you should main gain if you're 7 or 8%? No. Lean bulk. Gain some body fat. Get healthy. Fix yourself. Stop suffering from body dysmorphia. Go get professional help, some counseling. You are not going to build muscle by being too shredded all the time. I do not promote being too shredded. I don't know how people misinterpret my message. I keep saying halfway to your dream physique, halfway to that lean body you want. How is halfway bad? How is me saying halfway encouraging you to be too lean? Halfway to as lean as you want. How is that negative? How is that promoting body dysmorphia? So if you're too lean, eat more flippin' food. Pick the fork up and stop feeling like you're not good enough. You are good enough. Eat more. It's not worth it. Starvation to look a certain way, to keep up with social media, it's not worth it. Do you now get it? Do you understand when to maintain, cut, bulk, and so on? Probably not. Probably not. I'm sure you don't. You're never going to get it. So let me throw out this one more example. You're about to do a bodybuilding competition. What should you do? You need to cut because you're not lean enough, because the winners of bodybuilding shows have unrealistically, mind-blowingly low body fat levels to the point of you want to die to get that lean. And then after it's over, the contest is over, you're going to have to bulk up to your old self again and hopefully not develop body dysmorphia from comparing yourself to all the freaks out there. Then when you get to that old body fat percentage, you're probably going to feel fat now because you're comparing yourself to when you were shredded. And at that point, main gain. Always at the end of it, it always boils down to main gain. It's the healthiest way, safest way, and it's going to work. Sure, you can bulk and cut, and that also works, but it's not better. It's not going to build you more muscle. When you're bulking, easier to build muscle, but when you're cutting, harder to build muscle. Balances out. It evens out. When you're main gaining, it's always not very easy, but always not very hard to build muscle. You're always in a zone where you can build muscle. Bulking and cutting, easier to build muscle, harder to build muscle. Balances out to main gaining. Do you get it? Do you get it? If you don't get it, I don't know what to say. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette IB Pro. Please watch the bloops. Harder than last time supplements, including testosterone. Maybe that can help you. Cookbooks, that can help you for sure. Training books, of course it helps. Coaching plans, again, helps. Phone consults helps. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm, and until next time, I'm out. Off to the dentist and train. Look, it's healing up.